Hi guys, let's talk about AEW All Out. So do let me know what exactly you liked in the All Out pay-per-view. So now it's officially in the history books. 2024 AEW All Out, the main event, lights out match between Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. What a finish that was! I don't know. I haven't seen anything like such a finish in a wrestling match before. Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page gives a needle inside the mouth of Swerve Strickland and slams the steel chair, which we are TKO, knockout technically. So that's absolute brutal, and the usage of the cinder block, I mean, that was so hard, and the stapling on their bodies, it was as violent and as brutal as it was. So we'll have to see. Hangman Adam Page won this steel cage match. We don't know when Swerve Strickland will be back after this brutal match and what's in store for Hangman Adam Page next. We'll get to find out on Dynamite, but that was one hell of a sick match. And the following co-main event, Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry. That is one of the very good matches. Jack Perry looked very strong in the match. He took the bazooka knee and he still kicked out of that. And finally, the finish also, I really loved it. Like Jack Perry says, "Come on, hit me with the knee again," and Bryan Danielson hits him. And officially, the match ends, and Bryan Danielson retains his championship. After that, Killswitch comes and attacks Bryan. Then we see Christian Cage, coming up with the contract which he won at AEW All In to cash in and become the new AEW champion. But that's not gonna happen, because Jon Moxley, BCC, is here to save Bryan Danielson. Jon Moxley, Claudia, Wheeler Yuta, and Pac comes in to save Bryan from the cash-in. So Christian Cage and those guys backs off, and then we see in the ring PCC turn on Bryan Danielson. So it was really, Jon Moxley almost choked out Bryan Danielson with that plastic bag on his head. That was another brutal, post-match beatdown, we must say. I don't know the reason behind this. Maria Shafir also involved in this attack as well. So Wheeler Yuta is still with Bryan Danielson, and medical staff assist Bryan Danielson, puts the oxygen mask on, and Wheeler Yuta goes with Bryan Danielson. So he's still with Bryan, he's still the babyface, but the other guys, Pac, Jon Moxley, Claudia, Maria Shafir, were the villains in this story. So what Jon Moxley is planning, he called out Darby Allin. He didn't showed up yet, so we'll have to see what he will say on this coming week's Dynamite after this Bryan Danielson attack and Darby Allin call out. Will he show up or not? What exactly is going on? We thought Shane McMahon is behind this. Is really Shane McMahon behind this angle? They're gonna plan an invasion angle or what sort of something like that? We'll have to find out in the coming weeks, but it was a beautiful match. And before that, we saw Mercedes Moné defending her championship against Hikaru Shida, where she successfully defeated Shida and retained her TBS championship. And then we got a Continental Championship match, Fatal 4-Way, Mark Briscoe, Okada, Takeshita versus Orange Cassidy, where Okada retains his Continental Championship in the Fatal 4-Way. But I think we are going to see a Takeshita versus Okada one-on-one match in the near future. And next we got Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale in a Chicago street fight. This is absolute brutal. One of the very brutal and violent women's matches ever in the wrestling history. Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale pulled out an absolute blinder of a street fight match in Chicago Nav Arena. Chris Statlander walks out as a winner, but they both won this match and won the wrestling fans while putting out a very beautiful match out there in the form of a Chicago street fight. Very great match, and hats off to both women involved, Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. So we'll have to see where Chris Statlander heads and Willow Nightingale's path in AEW next. And Will Ospreay versus Pac for the International Championship, where Ospreay defeated Pac and retained his championship. After that, he confronts Ricochet and says him that, don't just sit alone, get some wins, let's have a match for the title. So soon we are going to see Ricochet versus Will Ospreay for the International Championship. So before that, we saw tag team championship match, Young Bucks defended against the trios champions Claudia and Wheeler Yuta, where Young Bucks won this match and retained their tag team titles. And the opener for All Out is MJF versus Daniel Garcia. Very good 30 minutes of the match, but the match ended in an unexpected way when MJF low blow about Daniel Garcia. So a lot of people might not like the ending of the match because all of them thought, Daniel Garcia should win it clean, but AEW has decided to go in that passion. So we'll have to see. There might be a second match between these two guys, definitely. And after this, Daniel Garcia absolutely destroys MJF in the ring and walks out of Now Arena with a big smile, we can say that. So he took his revenge, Daniel Garcia, at the end of the day, whether he won the match or not. So that's the story of All Out, guys. So do let me know what exactly the match that you liked most on the card down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.